Unit 5. Let's go ahead and make that units. I'm going to make that package Unit 5, all lowercase, no space. And what we're going to be doing in Unit 5 is writing classes. So let's go ahead and make a class. Let's call this class bank account. We're not going to put a main method as yet. And what we're going to do is write a simple bank account class to do what we call the anatomy of a class. 5.1, we'll be looking at how do you create a class. For some of us, this is review. If you find this to be pretty simple, just feel free to skip ahead. So let's go ahead and figure out what do you need when you make a class. First of all, we need data. So what do we need? I'm using comments to figure out the anatomy, and the answer for that is we need data or instance variables. Okay, second thing is how do we construct a bank account object? Okay, so that's another thing we need. And for that, we're going to write some constructors. Okay, and then the other one is what can a bank account object do? And for this, we're going to write some methods. So in a three-prong approach, I'll put some space between these. Three-prong approach, the anatomy of a class looks simply as this. You have some data, some variables that we're going to be working with. We're going to have a way to create an instance of that class. And then we're going to have some actions that this instance can perform. Now, methods come in two forms. So we could have the bank account object or the bank account class itself can do. So I'm going to write bank account object for now because we're going to write pretty much instance methods. But if we wanted a class method, for example, then we could write a account that the bank account is going to call. That would be a static method, okay? So in this case, we're looking at a non-static method. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little additional thing here. What can a bank account object or the bank account itself, either the bank account object or the bank account, what can that particular piece do, either the object or the bank account? So now what I'm going to do then is say, well, since we're going to make this bank account, let's start off with the first one. In 5.1, we're going to look specifically as to what data we need. And you want to keep your data private. So the first thing I need is an account number. I mean, I do need an account number because that's if we're making a bank account. I also need a balance, right? And this is going to be double because it's money. What else do I need? Well, I do need some information from the customer. For example, I need the customer's last name. I need their first name. I need their address. I also need their phone number. And I need their email address. So in essence, we're going to consider a simple bank account to just have an account number for the bank account itself, the balance, how much money is in there, the person's last name, their first name, where do they live, what's their phone number, and what's their email address. Again, 5.1, we're focusing on the anatomy of a class. And the anatomy looks like a three-prong approach, okay? Three things we're looking for. What do we need to make this? How are we going to construct this? And finally, what can these things do? Either the object or the bank account itself. In 5.2, we'll explore this some more. We'll jump on to constructors. But for now, 5.1, that's a wrap.